Animal disposal options can vary depending on location, size, and availability of materials for each farm operation. The Department of Environmental Quality, otherwise known as DEQ, has 6 main preferred methods of mortality management practices. These include rendering, on-site or on-farm composting, concentrated animal composting, incineration, landfill burial, and on-site or on-farm burial. Hello, my name is Morgan Marshall, and I'm going to be talking about the on-farm burial method for deceased livestock. On-farm burial is burial directly on-site where the animal death has occurred. Let's take a look at the goals and benefits that draw farmers to use this method. Convenience is something all farmers look for when deciphering between any day-to-day activities that come about. With farmers' busy schedules, convenience is something they prioritize. On-farm burial provides no off-site transport, no additional materials besides minimal equipment and labor, plus you can get organic matter in the process of the decaying deceased animal. For smaller operations, this can be the most efficient method of animal disposal. Next, let's take a look at what all goes into an on-site burial. The below-ground burial has many rules that farmers should abide by. The first rule is the 48-hour rule. All deceased livestock should be buried no later than 48 hours after the death. This 48-hour rule is to avoid any hazard that can come from deceased livestock and could affect your other animals in your herd and also the environment, the surrounding environment. The farmer should make the burial pit at least 2 feet deep and no more than 6 feet deep, with 1 carcass per burial pit. The DEQ has a 2,000-pound limit per acre per year on private property. Paying attention to the little details can prevent biosecurity concerns, groundwater contamination that can later affect the farm. The problems and barriers to adoption of the on-site burial method are biosecurity concerns, the time limit, and the groundwater contamination. Regarding the biosecurity concerns, pathogens can be released if the animal that deceased had a disease, which can then run into groundwater and affect your herd's water supply. With the farmer's busy schedule, the time limit can become an issue as that's not first on their priority list. But with the on-site burial method, this should be number 1 when the farmer is trying to discard of the animal. To avoid groundwater contamination, the burial pit should be at least 100 feet from all water surfaces, including streams and ponds, and at least 200 feet from a current well or spring that is in use, and 50 feet off of the property boundary line. Now, let's discuss on-farm burial versus on-farm composting. As on-farm burial can be seen as the least favorable method, I believe that is the most convenient for a farmer. You still get nutrients gain into your soil, and it is a below-ground option that won't get in the way. As for on-farm composting, It is the second recommended method from the DEQ. With composting, you have a direct soil nutrients gain, which could be more than your on-farm burial. It is above ground, but I see on-farm composting as more high maintenance, as you have to check the temperature for the first 3 days of compost. I hope you learned more about on-farm burial methods and how to properly dispose of your livestock. Thank you.